I'm Sharon Thawer. Welcome to the Thawer Power Legal Hour. We're going to answer all your immigration questions, as well as give you mythbusters and inspirational success stories to share with you. Let's get started. So, Avi, what's on our agenda for today?
Well, I just want to start with, I love the fact that you have such inspirational quotes. I love the fact that you have the quote about, I can't promise to solve all your problems, but I can promise that you don't have to face them alone. Love it. And I also love your logo, the will to win. So tell us a little bit about a recent win or a story that sticks out in your head.
Sure, absolutely, Avi, and thank you for the compliments. Really take pride in our work, and we really strive to make success stories at Thawer Law. And one of my favorite that always sticks out in my head, even though we have maybe thousands of wins or success stories, but this case and this story always warms my heart, and it's one of the most gratifying parts of being an immigration attorney. This case is actually about a family in Los Angeles. They have 4 children, 3 daughters and 1 son, and they are in the hotel business. They've been here for about 30 years or so, and they initially came and filed for asylum, but the asylum application didn't work out. And so they've kept appealing it and filing motions to reopen, and they kept challenging USCIS and the immigration court about the fact that, they should be considered asylees under the law.
So how long has that been going on for?
Their asylum case had gone on for 25 years or so.
Wow, 25 years of asylum. That's such a long time. Why didn't they just go back?
Avi, that's really easy to say, but hard to implement. You got to think about it from their shoes. They've been here for the last 25 years. They have 4 children, one of whom is a United States citizen. They own properties, they have business, they have created a social circle, friends, they are in the community, they're very active, they have a life here. Can you imagine trying to go back to India after living in the United States for 25 years and then taking 4 children, 3 of whom are young adults, ranging in the young 20s, and to go back there where they came from, and they don't have anything there. They don't have a house, they don't have any property there, they don't have any family there, they don't have any job opportunities there, so what could they go back to? Everything's here.
So tell us your approach. What did you do?
Okay, so with this I said, they have been trying to convince the US government that they are asylees from India. It hasn't worked. It's 25 years later, they're not convinced. It doesn't look like this is going to get approved.
Right.
We have to have a different strategy, and we've got to find a different way to get them the green card. And I asked them, I said, do you think it's possible for you to do EB-5? And EB-5 is the investor visa, and it allows you to get the green card through investment. Because I figured, he's already in business. He might have the capability to do so. And he said, yeah, sure, I think I can raise the funds and I think I can get this done. Brave enough we did. We sent the, we sent the money, we sent the application, we got the receipts, notices and everything. And then I took it back to ICE Counsel and I said, look, we got everything. Everything's approved here. All I need is you.
Right.
I need you to make this happen for me. And if you can do this, it'd be like the best Christmas present ever for this family. Finally, one fine day, they said yes. And I said, I'm sending you the paperwork right now in your email, and please sign and send it back.
That's awesome, that's great.
Thank you, and so they did. And it's so great to see the before and after, of the story. Because before, the kids couldn't get driver's license. They couldn't drive themselves to school. They couldn't go anywhere really. They couldn't, just even local travel, just going from Los Angeles to the Bay Area. Mm-hmm. They could not take that risk to be on the highway without a driver's license. Right. Not being able to get insurance. You can see that in the kids when you meet them now. Right. That each young adult is pursuing their American dream, as you said. Mm-hmm. They're in college, or they finished up their school and they got a job. They're actually working in the companies they want to work and achieving their goals. And that's the best part.
That must be a great feeling for you.
It is.
For all your hard work.
Absolutely. Welcome to Mythbusters. Number 1, is a K-1 visa faster than green card marriage? Actually, the green card marriage visa is a much faster process than K-1. Only takes 6 to 8 months, whereas a K-1 could take even longer. Myth number 2, can I work on my I-94 status? No, you cannot. You must have a valid visa to accompany the I-94, such as an L1 or an H1. Myth number 3, if I file an I-130, can I stay in the United States? No, you cannot. You must have an accompanying I-485 that was also approved in order to stay in the United States. Myth number 4, do I have to change my address? My petitioner still lives where they do. Yes, you do. USCIS must know where the petitioner and beneficiary is at all times. You may miss important mail and then your application could get closed. You don't want that to happen. Myth number 5, do you need a birth certificate to sponsor your relative? Yes, you do. Many people think that, oh, I don't need to provide my birth certificate, but it's actually a very important piece of your application. You have to prove the relationship between you and your sibling or you and the parent. And if you don't have it, they may deny your case. Stay with us, because coming up is a life-changing story you don't want to miss.
So you've been doing this for 10 plus years. You've accomplished so much in the last 10 years, solved thousands of cases, and just recently you were at President Obama's inauguration. Tell us about that experience.
Sure, Avi, that was amazing. It was a lifetime experience, and I really suggest everyone should do that at least once in their life. But it is an honor to see the president take the oath live, to be there on Capitol Hill in the cold in January, wearing your coat, and you feel so proud to be an American. And you just realize what you have in this country. Obama is a very special president because he has made it his mandate to do immigration reform. And it's been a long time that a president has taken it upon himself to not just pass one bill or to make one policy, but he has actually made it a point to pass 3 important legislative bills, one being DOMA, the same-sex marriages. 2 more major pieces of legislation that recently passed. One was the 601 waiver, which will allow those that came into the country illegally many years ago, but yet they have a USC wife, United States citizen wife, a United States citizen child, or a sibling or parent with an approved I-130 immediate relative petition. And yet they want to put in their green card petition, but they're scared because they know if they do, they'll face a 10-year ban and may end up in deportation proceedings. Well, President Obama has fixed this problem. And then lastly, we have the DACA. DACA is awesome. DACA is for all our youth. It is the future of America. It allows all the minors who came in with their parents many years ago, but do not have status for some reason. Either the parents' applications did not process, or they aged out, they turned 21 before they could benefit from it. But they still need their driver's license, and they still need work permits, and they still need to be able to go to college or try to get a career. And so this is the act which is going to allow that to happen. They are the youth of today and the future of tomorrow. If we don't enable them, where will our country be? Now it's time to answer your burning questions on immigration. And Avi, I'm so glad you're here. He's been gracious enough to go through all the questions and pick the most common ones from our audience.
Well, we've had an overwhelming number of questions that came out, but we wanted to focus on the most relevant to the segment.
Sounds great.
The first one comes from Boston, Massachusetts, from a 25-year-old master's student. She asks, if an immigration officer knocks on your door, what should I do?
Okay, this is a great question, Avi, and I'm so glad you asked it. You will not believe, but immigrants do have Fourth Amendment rights. So this is a very, very important question. You want to make sure, number one, that they are a federal official and a federal agent. So you want to ask for their ID, you want to verify their name. You also want to ask, do they have a subpoena or a warrant to knock on your door and enter your home? And you actually want to read it and make sure that your name is listed, that it's signed by a judge, what is the date, What is it they are actually looking for? You want to verify these things. And don't be scared. I know it must be a terrifying experience to try to confront a law enforcement official. But remember, these are your rights, and you don't want to waive them, because once you waive them, then you're giving them access to your entire apartment or house and all the people inside.
So you don't recommend running out the back window?
I don't recommend that. And I don't recommend just opening the door and letting them in either. Do try to ask for their ID and follow some of the steps.
Okay, great. Well, our next question comes from Houston, Texas, from a 48-year-old homemaker who happens to be a U.S. citizen. How can I apply for a visitor visa for my family in India?
Awesome. Well, many people do want their family to visit and come see how they're living in the United States and meet their children. So this is a great question. And we actually help many, many visitors come over to the United States. It's very important to make sure that you have the financial ability to sponsor someone, because the embassy will ask for bank statements, your tax return, what is your job, what is your employment verification letter. Also, what is the status of the person that is sponsoring you? So we have U.S. citizen here. So she would want to send a copy of her passport or a birth certificate or the naturalization certificate. And coming from abroad, that person would want to provide their passport and their ties. Why are they going back to India? Do they have a house? Do they have property? Do they have children? A family they're leaving behind? Are they a caretaker for an elderly person? Do they have a job? Like, all these questions are really important. And the embassy will actually scrutinize your application, which is the DS-160, and they are going to look at it and see, are you genuine? Are you really coming for the short period of time, or are you at risk for being an overstay?
Great. So, and what's generally the maximum duration?
Sure. You can get a 10-year visitor visa, or you can get a 5-year visitor visa. And when they come over, you're usually stamped for 6 months. But if you want to stay longer, you can definitely apply for an extension.
I would generally tell my relatives 6 months and that's it.
Most people would, especially the in-laws.
That's right. Okay, great. Well, our next question comes from Orlando, Florida, a 29-year-old with no status who's been in the U.S. since 1997. What do I do if I get a notice to appear in immigration court?
Okay, and this is a really important question. This is called the notice to appear. This is your notice saying you have to go to immigration court, a very frightening moment in one's life, because now you have to go and face the judge and explain why you've been here so long, how did you come, and what is your potential relief to get this deportation case terminated. And so you want to obtain legal counsel, make sure that you get all your rights and possible case options explained to you well. You want to explore everything. You want to make sure that your attorney tries to terminate your case. Approach ICE counsel to see. There are many, many Morton memos and prosecutorial discretion for people that own businesses. They have houses, or USC wives, spouses, relatives. So there is some room for negotiation, so you want to make sure that you do get maybe one opinion or two opinions or even three opinions to make sure you're on the right track.
So don't flee the country.
Don't flee the country. And don't miss your hearing. Okay. That's another thing, because if you miss your hearing, you're going to get an in absentia order, and then you don't have the right to appeal, and then you get a 10-year bar, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that information.
Absolutely. And I hope, viewers, that you got your question answered. And if you didn't have a chance, go ahead and email it in, and Avi will screen them for you.
No, when I came here, it was quite easy. I came in 1980. It took me 18 months to get a green card, and I became an American the day I got my green card. And later on, 10 years later, I started my first company, which grew to employing 1,000 people. And then I started a second company a few years later, which employed 250 people. So I contributed to American competitors in a very big way, and now I'm giving back to this country. The groups who oppose immigration don't understand that. They seem to think that foreigners take jobs away. It's not true. Foreigners like me end up creating jobs. I created 1,000 jobs in my first company. So this is what happens when you bring skilled immigrants here, and it's good to bring these stories to life and to make Americans aware of what they're losing out on. The Indians right now found 1/3 of all the immigrant-founded startups. In other words, about 16% of all the startups in the United States in the tech field are founded by Indians, which is amazing, considering that Indians are less than 1% of the US population. They're disproportionately successful in starting companies. So that's why this is an important story.
Welcome back, everyone, to Showbiz India, and it's now time for our Thawer Power legal segment with our expert, the lovely Sharon. And today, our topic of discussion is DACA. So, Sharon, thank you for being here once again, and tell us a little bit about DACA. What does it stand for?
Sure. DACA is the Dreamers Act. It allows all the children who came over as minors. It means anyone who came over under 16 years old of age with their parents, or maybe not even with their parents, and are here in the United States for the last 5 years, continuous presence. They don't have any kind of felony on their record, and they need status. They want to achieve their dream. They want to go to college. They want to work for the company they do, or they want to pursue a career goal. So President Obama and many leaders before him also recognized that, the youth should not be punished for something that they really weren't responsible for. And so finally it got passed, the Dreamers Act, on a federal level to allow these students to apply for this benefit. So they get to go to college. They will get an EAD card, which is a work permit, and they also get a driver's license, which is very important because so many states now give you such a hard time to get a driver's license if you're out of status.
Oh, wow, that is excellent.
Yes.
So that's good news for our South Asian population as well.
Especially. And this is wonderful news. We have over, nationwide, I want to say 200,000 applicants that are applying for DACA, and our office has also processed many, thousands of those applications, and it's so nice to see the college students actually get admitted, go to those schools and obtain the jobs they want to, go on to medical school or engineering school, and they finally get the dreams that they want. And it's so hard because they see their friends graduate and go off to different colleges pursuing their goals, and they're stuck. But now they're not stuck. They can drive, their parents no longer have to worry about it, and they're moving on in their lives.
Oh, that is fantastic news.
Yes.
So how does one apply for DACA?
There are special forms for DACA, and you can always get them onto uscis.gov. And then you can always contact us if you like, or any attorney, and we'd be happy to help you get through the process.
And how long does the process take?
DACA takes, they're backed up. USCIS is very backed up with this. So you're looking at about a good 10 to 12 months. But you will get the EAD, the work permit, in the interim right after your FBI background check, which is usually about 90 to 120 days.
So this youth of today and the future of tomorrow, they have no fear now to come to an attorney such as yourself, and if they're not of status, they can apply and there's no fear of deportation.
Exactly. As long as they went to high school here, they have that diploma, or they have a GED certificate, and they've been here in the United States for the last 5 years, starting from 2007, and no felony on their record. If they have a criminal issue, I'm more than happy to evaluate it. They can send all the criminal documents. We did have some of those complex cases. We did have a few with deportation orders. We were able to get those terminated and let them pursue DACA. So even if you have a unique case, or you're a little shy of the 5 years, or your age may be a little off, there are exceptions to the rule.
I am from Pakistan. I migrated to USA about 7 years before. One of my daughter, she was that time about 21 years. She did not get the visa at that time, and she is a special child. She cannot read, write, or she cannot walk. And I brought her on a parole visa for 1 year. And after 1 year, I tried to extend that parole for next period, and after a lot of correspondence, I did not get any extension. And that daughter, she become an overstay illegal immigrant. So first I contacted one attorney, and she gave me advice do not touch this case, do not apply for this one because she is overstayed and she may not get the status. Instead of status, they may deport her. I said, okay, I appreciate Ms. Thawer. She took the case and she told me that I will fight this case as a challenge. It was a good hope for me and it was a good news for me. It took about 2 years, about 2 years. We started it in June 2010 and finally last week my daughter got the green card.
I was trying to get my, a relative, immediate relative, through adoption back to US. And I tried to INS, and INS in the initial stage, they said, you are late for applying that. So they said I failed for 1 day. I was late for 1 day. And that was not right. I applied on time, but they was trying to slow down the process. So I came back to Sharon Thawer and I talked to her about my history. It was excellent, when I came back, she was very pleased. It was the way they treated me, the way they handled the whole thing was excellent. She went further, she said, if they refuse, I'm going to get it for you. That's the word I counted on. And she went to the court, she did a case for me, and everything she reversed back to that. Now the son is, the adoptant is going to be my son. He's going to New Delhi soon to get the visa stamped. The Sharon Thawer Tamam Mission Kullu the Kam Mission Legal with the Tamam and Kullu Arabi people Kali Iji and Sharon Thawer can do a great job, and that's the last word.
It was just a phone call made, appointment set up, come to the office. All the staff, starting from the front door to the Miss Sharon, Miss Mariola, all the guys were just great to me. And the treatment inside the office with a lot of respect, a lot of true things say to you. From my perspective, my view, I was happy 100%. I was taken care of 100%. Every person should have come to this office. What these people did for me, I can describe it, period, no doubt. And they know my situation, what was. I was gonna have a family, so this was the greatest thing I ever done. One of the best moves I ever make in my life. And they helped me with that move, so I was taken care of from the door to the when I leave. So it was a perfect experience. Zahvaljujem se gospođi Sharon Thawer što je završila stvari za mene i puno hvala njima i njihovom ofisu što su radili za mene i moju familiju. Zahvaljujem se, hvala.
Well, I just want the viewers to get a glimpse as to what you're all about. When we're talking backstage, sounds like you're more about not just solving cases. You're so motivated. You're so determined to changing people's lives. Now, tell us a little bit about what inspired you to get into immigration law.
Okay. Well, Avi, I started out being a business litigation attorney for many years. And I think that the whole courtroom experience, putting on trials, trying to convince juries and judges to see your side or to make them give you a verdict in favor of your client has really helped me with immigration law. And, I kept saying no to clients. I don't want to take on immigration cases because, immigration is something you have to do 110%. You've got to do it with your heart and you've got to do it with everything in you. But one day there was one family that just really insisted that, I try to help them out. It was a fairly simple case, but I had helped them on a business matter, so they really wanted my expertise in this immigration case. And so I took it on, and I had helped them. And from there, it's just been a snowball effect. I just love to see how you can really help somebody get them that visa or that green card and just change their whole life around and help them settle in the United States.
I'm originally from Pakistan. I was the Pepsi-Cola franchise bottler in Pakistan for about 15 years. Then I relocated to US about 2.5 years ago. My case was previously handled by another law firm, and I applied for a business visa, but unfortunately the case was not properly handled. I would strongly recommend Shireen to other investors who contact me sometime from Dubai and Singapore. As I mentioned, I was previously with PepsiCo. So I have friends and they ask for references. I have recommended her to many international executives. And why not? She delivers the results and I'm happy with her. Her staff is bilingual. They speak Urdu and Hindi and Bengali. So there is no problem in communication. They're very good in setting up the appointments. I can even see them during the weekend if there is any emergency, if I want to see them. They're very proactive. If Shireen is traveling, they always guide me what kind of documentation they need, what kind of filing work we have to do. So this is a very good team. So you are in safe hands if you are dealing with Shireen Thawer. You are in safe hands. That's all I can say.
Well, actually, my case was really, it was in a big mess. Like I was going through the divorce and stuff. So for last 20 years, so it was a great help from her. When I got divorced, like my status was not going in a proper line, like through the immigration, like there were like a lot of declines. So she's the one who prepared my case and make it right. For last 2 years, Shireen Thawer, she's taking care of my case and she's very good, like always helpful. Like she helped me a lot, many ways, right? We always call them, make the appointments. They're always here on time, like whenever you come. Inside the office, they speak my language too a little bit. So it's really easy to communicate, like it's really helpful. Like when you speak in your own language, it's easy. English and our own language mix, it makes more easy. देखो मैं तो ऐसे करके कहना भी इन्हें मेरी हेल्प की थी इन्हें देना तो like for many years. So मैं सारे वही कहना भी go with Shireen Thawer.
I'm here to get my parents immigrated to United States, and Shireen has been helping me, and I have some questions to get the paperwork moving, so that's why I'm here. The best thing I like is, she's always available, even if it's a Saturday. If I text her some message, I get a prompt response. Her office is very courteous, very easily available, and from whatever the legal paperwork she's done for me, it's been very sound paperwork. Within a few days, everything was moving along as we expected, and we got a response from the embassy, from the immigration department also. So it's been a wonderful experience. In other law offices, you call the attorney, you leave a message, you get an email after 24 hours or 48 hours. Here, it's within an hour or so, you get your answer. I'm very, very happy with the service, and she does a wonderful job, and our staff, they are very excellent, so I would recommend you anybody. मैं यही कहूँगा कि बहुत अच्छी attorney हैं. She handles your case very बहुत आराम से, सुकून से, and आखिर में she always has a good results. अच्छा response मिलता है आपको.
Thank you for joining our show today, and we'll see you next week on the Thawer Power Legal Hour.